good morning, and good afternoon. Welcome back to DCTV. I am your host, Drew Collins, and my co-host
is Courtney Sprouts.
Week 2 of picks and predictions here on the show. See some people already in the comment section. What's up, guys? We're doing this every week for the rest of the season. I told you guys week 1 that I was going to have a guest, and I was going to start to try to do the show live. Here we are. I first off want to apologize about my audio. If it seems off, this beautiful microphone right here is actually not even working. It's just show and tell. So we are going to start these with a bit of a review before we get into our predictions for the week. So once this live becomes a video, if you're not watching this live, I will put a timestamp to where you could skip to just get to this week 2 picks. Full transparency on this. I mean, we're going to have our picks. I'm 9-7. Court is 6-10, so that's tough. But, we're not going to try to act like we know what we're talking about and then have crappy picks. So we're going to have full transparency along the way. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the week 1 review because we obviously missed a lot here. But I think week 1 for this NFL season was a bit of a surprise for everybody, even the quote unquote experts. I mean, there was definitely a couple games I was just like, what am I watching? Kyle in the chat said Bengals heartbreak. Kind of tough. There was a lot of games I was watching. I mean, including my Vikings. I don't even know. So the first game we're going to hop into here was Chiefs and Lions, which I predicted wrong. I stuck with the Chiefs. I thought, I'm going to keep picking them until they prove me wrong. They proved me wrong. I felt like that was a winnable game. If Kadarius Toney could just make a catch or somebody just make a play for Mahomes. I've never felt bad for Mahomes in my entire life until I watched that game. Chiefs signed Chris Jones, so he should be playing week 2 unless there's any reports. Courtney, how did that game look for you?
I also was riding with the Chiefs. It was their banner night. Just came off a Super Bowl win. Pretty embarrassing that this team came in and beat them at their house. But, the Lions did have a lot of hype coming into the season. So I wasn't buying into it that much to where I thought they were going to be the Chiefs. But, word on the street is the average person couldn't gain a yard in the National Football League. Kadarius Toney was one of those average people on that game. It was really tough bounce, but it's an exciting time to be a Lions fan. However, we just got past Overreaction Monday. I'm no analyst, I'm no expert, but I will sit here and say that the Lions are not winning the Super Bowl this year. I'm pretty confident in that take.
I agree. Kyle said in the chat, I believe the Lions should be worried about their defense still because there was drops that easily could have been big gains or touchdowns. Totally agree. That's why I said, my pick was the Chiefs, and I feel like the Chiefs shoulda, woulda, coulda won the game. Moving on, Bengals versus Browns. Boy, what a tough watch this was. If you're a true Bengals fan, I don't think this should have came of too much of a surprise. Maybe you could say they should have competed better than what they did because they really didn't even compete. But we all know this Bengals team just doesn't start the season strong. You could blame injuries. You could blame the lack of preseason reps, whatever. This is nothing new. Fade the Bengals week 1 of every starting season for the rest of Burrow's career. I will be on that train. And, no notable takeaways. I think the Browns still stink. I don't really think they played that well. Deshaun Watson missed a ton of throws. You can blame the rain. I'm not blaming the rain for the Bengals, so I'm not going to blame it for the Browns. Nick Chubb's a beast. The Browns defense is pretty good, but I think every AFC North defense is pretty good. Those are my main takeaways, sweet and simple.
I absolutely hated the outcome of that game, and that is coming from a Steelers fan. I saw someone in the comments already said, nah, not a Steelers fan, so that's tough. That's really tough. But I truly believe that there is not a more obnoxious human on the planet than a Browns fan. And, no disrespect, but Jesus. So it's really tough that they came out and beat the Bengals that badly on week 1. there's still a lot of football left to play. I do not expect this high vibe train to continue. Now the Steelers do play the Browns Monday Night Football this week, so I mean, really, not even just for me, for all of these National Football League fans, I really hope that the Steelers just win and just nip this overhypeness in the bud. Like, get it out of here, shut it down. I don't want to be hearing about this because it's too much. It's way too much. I would prefer the Bengals to win, and I know that is a hot take, but I gotta say, the Ravens were my number one. Like, I hate you in the AFC North, but recently it has changed to the Browns just because how annoying they are. And again, no disrespect to the Browns, you got some talented players, but I can't stand you. So it's just a tough bounce.
Right, and I want to make this note. I forgot to say in the beginning of the episode, if you're watching this live or if you're going to be watching this, it's not live anymore. I'm a Bengals fan. Also, Vikings are my favorite NFC team. She's a Steelers fan, so there's full transparency behind that, which basically means the AFC North takes might have a little bit of bias. I try to keep my bias aside. I mean, I had the Bengals winning that game, but I also said I wouldn't be surprised at all if they lost. And I said if I was a betting man, I would be on the Browns side. So there's that. Check my receipts. Texans, Ravens. I called this game right. I said the Ravens would get the win, but boy, they really didn't look pretty doing that. And I think a main part of that was the lack of Mark Andrews. This team and Lamar Jackson's just not as efficient without Mark Andrews, and I thought that was pretty obvious. I will say Zay Flowers is certified. He looked great. You get the ball in his hands, he makes a play downfield. J.K. Dobbins tears his Achilles, which means it's time for Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. I will note that going into my prediction for the game. And then for the Texans, the lack of use for Dameon Pierce, not a fan of that. I mean, he's a great running back, and how are you not going to use him to help out your rookie quarterback? The Texans stink, but I don't think they stink as much as I thought they did. So those are my comments about that game. What about you, Courtney?
I agree. I think the Texans are going to have a better year this year, but that's not saying a ton from how they were last year. But I am excited to see the potential of CJ Stroud. I'm a Buckeye gal. So, anytime you see, a rookie Ohio State quarterback getting the start, you're pumped. I didn't think he necessarily played terribly. I mean, there's just not a whole lot of other stuff going on there that it's not a one-person team. I also, again, I'm a Buckeye gal, so this J.K. Dobbins injury sucked to hear, especially because he, again, has a lot of potential, but his entire career has been injury plagued, and it's really tough to come back from that. And Achilles is tough, but I mean, he is still on the younger side. He hasn't been in the league too long, I don't think. I think did he come in the same class as Justin Fields or before? I can't remember now.
I can't recall. I just know the Ravens really have a tough time keeping their running backs and their whole team healthy. I mean, look at Lamar, look at Andrews. I mean, these past few years, even as a Bengals fan, I hate injuries in the NFL in general. When it's somebody in your division, it's kind of like, it sucks, but at the same time, it doesn't suck. But yeah, I mean, that's tough. That's a tough pull for the Ravens. I think they're really going to struggle as long as Mark Andrews are out. And they have good schemes to run the ball. So I don't think it really matters who's in the backfield. Obviously, the more options, the better for them. But I will keep that noted moving forward. Now, the Buccaneers and Vikings, do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I picked the Vikings, and they 100% should have won this game. There was a few turnovers that really just put the nail in the coffin for Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, and that really ticks me off because I cannot stand Baker Mayfield. Obviously, he was with the Browns and didn't like him then. Still don't like him. It's just a grudge I'm holding against him, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's I can't. I just can't. Jefferson obviously showed up and played a good game, and that's what he does. But, just like I said before, it's not a one-person game, and other mistakes led to their downfall. And it really sucks, too, because I feel like the Vikings the past few years have had all the tools to make a run, and then they just don't. So they get to where it really counts, and then they blow it. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
So I also had the Vikings, and once again, like I said, it's my favorite NFC team. Anybody watching this game, whether you're a Buccaneers fan, a Vikings fan, or you really didn't care who won, knows the Vikings should have won this game. I mean, it's just one of those games where it's just tough. I mean, Cousins lost them the game. I'm not gonna lie. I think he had 3 turnovers himself. The fumble. I mean, Cousins is always good for a couple fumbles a year. The interception in the red zone, I believe it was KJ Osborne, wasn't really all Cousins' fault. It was kind of a, it was a little bit behind Osborne, but he still like could have had it. One of those toss-up 50-50s, the connection isn't there type of thing. Justin Jefferson's still the best receiver in the National Football League, and it's really not even close. I mean, if he's doing this with Kirk Cousins, could you imagine what he's doing with a top 5 quarterback? He had like 130 yards at halftime. Didn't have that big of a second half, but that's just because the Vikings were just struggling. So the new Vikings defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, I thought he did good, but you just got to understand there is such a lack of talent on that Vikings defense. He can only do so much, and I'm going to continue to note that going forward. Baker is Baker. He's chippy. He's easy to root against and hard to root for sometimes, but boy, he is scrappy, and he's always good for a couple games like this season, no matter what team he's playing for, where he's just going to grind out a win. And the one thing with the Bucs, I don't like picking them, and then my reason is because the Mike Evans situation. It's really just you don't know if he's going to be traded next week or if he's not going to sit out for a contract. I'm just staying away from the Bucs with my picks going forward. Now, getting into the next game, Panthers versus Falcons. I got this one right. I will say Bijan is the real deal. There was a ton of hype regarding him coming out of this draft, and boy, he looked great. And I thought one thing that was interesting was how they split the reps between him and Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier, I mean, I had him on my fantasy bench, and he scored more points than any of my starting running backs. And he's a running back, too, on his own team. But that just tells you the lack of the throwing of the ball for the Falcons, which is really interesting. Jesse Bates, former Cincinnati Bengal, 2 interceptions in his debut, Defensive Player of the Week. That's a tough one to see as a Bengals fan. I'm not going to lie, but good for Jesse Bates. Bryce Young, I still think he's very talented and has a great arm. The decision-making, rookie mistakes, that's obviously there. And I thought it was interesting that another former Bengal, Hayden Hurst, was kind of his safety blanket in that game. Very, very interesting for me to see that. The lack of using Miles Sanders for the Panthers was very concerning for me, which, talking about fantasy, he was also one of my starting running backs, so that also hurt to see. But I don't understand why they're not giving him the ball more. I think I saw a stat where they gave Chuba Hubbard every 3rd and 4th down attempt in that game, or if not every attempt, almost every attempt. I don't get that. And the Falcons, can you please throw the ball to Kyle Pitts or trade him? You are wasting a generational talent, and it is so upsetting to see. Falcons stink. Panthers stink. That's my review of that game. So Courtnie.
I had the Panthers for this game, and to be honest, I am not sure if I underestimated the Falcons or if I overestimated the Panthers. I really don't know where I was going with that. I just had a lot of faith in Bryce Young, I guess. Speaking of that, the only other thing I really have to say about this game, RIP to Bryce Young's first NFL touchdown ball. He chucked right into the stand.
I saw that. I was like, I can't believe Hayden Hurst, you don't have Joe Burrow throwing you the ball anymore. Like, come on, dude. How are you not? Where's the situational awareness there? I couldn't believe that.
Golly, that was not good. I was like, jeez. But that's all I really have to say about that game. I mean, I didn't.
All right, let's move on then. I'm not losing no sleep over that game, honestly. Another game, short and sweet. Kyle, shout out to the getting active in the chat. Cardinals versus Commanders. I got this one right. My notes say both teams stink. Cardinals will win a game this year. So I thought the Cardinals didn't stink as much as I thought they would. I thought they played well, and they showed me that they will win a game or two this year. Everyone's saying they're going to go undefeated in losses. I don't think so. That team came out, and they actually looked like they wanted to win a football game and not get the first pick in the draft. That's all I got on that one.
I will say I also got this one right, but I was more impressed with the Cardinals than the Commanders because they've had an absolute dumpster fire of an offseason in the past few weeks. Like oh my God, it's unbelievable actually how bad things were going and looking for them. And you said that you think that they are going to win a game. I'm going to jump ahead and say that they're playing the Giants this week. this is the game that they're winning.
Let's go. I don't hate that at all. I don't hate that at all.
That will be one of, if it is the only game that they're winning, it's going to be this one. But who's to say that it is? For the Commanders side, another Buckeye, I just want to talk about Chase Young. I think he has potential to be a game changer, but here he is again, injury-plagued career. But this time he's not playing again in week 2 for a neck injury. And, if he's got to sit out for a neck injury, you do what you got to do. You definitely don't want to fuck around and find out. When it comes to a neck injury, that's tough waters you're swimming in there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had. I mean, it was pretty much a snooze fest. But that's you kind of expected that going in. And I hate it. I really don't like that because I don't hate the Cardinals because they had James Conner, former Steeler, they had Budda Baker. Like things were happening for them, but it just turned a corner really fast.
And I'm just gonna quickly go off of that. It's really tough for the Cardinals because even if you tank for the first pick, are you really gonna replace Kyler? Like I know a lot of fans do want Kyler. They obviously paid him a crap ton of money. Like that's a tough situation that I'm glad I'm not in as a fan of my team. So do you want to start us off for Jags versus Colts, which by the way, I got that one right. I don't know if you got that one right or not.
I didn't. I did get that one right. Okay. I was very impressed with Anthony Richardson, and it's a very exciting time to be a Colts fan. They were bad last year. Not to say that they're gonna make a run this year, but there is some definite promise, and I definitely am excited to see how he progresses throughout the season. I just read an article like a day or two ago, and it was Ian Rappaport saying that the Jonathan Taylor trade talk is going to continue, I guess. I'm snoozing on this story. Go somewhere, do something. I'm real sick of hearing about it. I'm just like, bro, figure it out. Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley, they were in sync. I expect that their success, I will say that their success will continue. It seems like as a whole organization, coaches, players, everybody, it seems like they are in rhythm. They have something figured out. So hopefully they can capitalize on that. People are going crazy on Overreaction Monday, saying that they could be a contender to make a run too. And I got to see a little bit more to weigh in on that. But I didn't hate what I saw.
I agree with everything you said. I agree. Anthony Richardson, how do you not watch him and go, holy shit, I wish he was the quarterback of my team. Like he is just so electrifying. And I'm still on it. I will quote that he's my favorite quarterback in that draft. I don't care. I think if we look 10 years from now, I think Richardson's going to be the best one, have the best career. Hot take, whatever. I don't care. I really, really like Anthony Richardson. With that said, I am really, really, really pissed off with the way the Colts handle that whole situation with Jonathan Taylor. You have a rookie quarterback. I mean, he is getting killed out there putting his body on the line, and he's got no running back to help him out. Get that man some protection up front. Get him another running back. Get him some type of weapon. It is so frustrating to see that the whole situation, like pay Taylor, let him play this year, trade him in the offseason. Do something to help your rookie quarterback. As a Bengals fan, I saw the Bengals get Joe Burrow literally killed. I mean, he tore his ACL because they had no offensive line. Burrow went through the trenches, and he still kind of is in there, honestly. But, the Bengals have attempted to fix that. I feel like I'm watching that with Anthony Richardson. I mean, it got to the point where it was in the game. They were driving to take the lead or something. He got hurt. They brought in Minshew. Minshew couldn't get the job done. Do we think this is the only time he's going to get hurt this year? Yeah. Also, feed Michael Pittman. I don't know why they're not giving him the ball more. Colts D-line and DeForest Buckner is incredible. I watched the highlights. Boy, they are insane. Calvin Ridley, he's a baller. Jags really got a good one in him. And then I absolutely love the combo with Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. Holy crap, I think they're the most slept-on running back duo in the National Football League. And, my pick was the Jags, but I said I love the Colts this year. They are going to be so fun to watch. I just wish Jonathan Taylor would be in that lineup. So we're going to go ahead and get into this one. 49ers and Steelers. I know you're going to have a lot to say, so I'm going to keep it nice and sweet. 49ers are legit. If you're a Steelers fan, keep in mind, like, dude, the 49ers were the best looking team probably outside of the Cowboys in week 1. Everything went well for them. Everybody looked good for the 49ers. And, yeah, the Steelers, I think if there was one takeaway for me, a lot of key injuries in that offense. There is a lot of frustrated players in that team, which is concerning for me. As a Bengals fan, I chose the Steelers going into this because it was at home. Mike Tomlin's a beast, and I thought he would have his boys ready. But boy, was I wrong, and I'm going to consider this going into the future. So, Courtnie, take this one away.
Yeah, so the Steelers had a lot of hype coming out of preseason, and I will say, like, this is honest. Like, yes, I was excited about the team coming out of preseason, but I also have a rational brain that can come to the conclusion, like, okay, it's preseason. Even though we still looked really good against Bills starters, obviously that didn't matter. The standard is the standard, as Mike Tomlin would say. I also had the Steelers going into this. I severely underestimated the 49ers. That's it. The offense for the Steelers was disappointing from the first snap. San Fran has a great defense, but we severely underperformed. Kenny Pickett was missing a lot of throws that he wouldn't normally miss, in my opinion. Obviously, Deontay Johnson is out for, I think it was a few weeks, I think is what they last said, with a hamstring. So that sucks. So they're going to be looking to George Pickens for their number one guy, which I don't hate at all. He's a very talented receiver. But I will say I did see a stat that I wanted to talk about in terms of the offense. And that is the Pittsburgh Steelers are the only NFL team that hasn't recorded a 400-yard game on offense since the 2021 season. And just to put this into perspective, every other team in the National Football League has done it at least 3 times. So Matt Canada became the offensive coordinator in 2021. That can't be a coinkydink. A lot of Steelers Twitter is very toxic. I will admit that. They can be very rash decision makers and just jump on the horn to fire somebody. I will say Matt Canada did have some questionable decisions. So did Mike Tomlin. But you cannot put all of last week on Matt Canada. We just underperformed all around. But you know who didn't underperform? TJ Watt. The whole city of Pittsburgh, the whole Pittsburgh Steelers fandom thanks you for just giving us just a wee bit of hope, and just to know that someone did show up to play. Last thing, Patrick Peterson had me all hyped up. He was like, dang, he knows what's going on. He's like talking about getting his pick. He's going to talk about more things after he gets his pick. Yeah, from just off memory, there was 2 touchdowns on him, so that sucks. But I will say the one that he's getting hate for, he actually was in good coverage. It was just a great catch by Brandon Ayuk, and you just can't put that all on him. It's the NFL. You're going to have great catches. It happens. I just thought we were asleep the whole time, and then we had 2 random plays out of the entire game where we had George Pickens hurdle somebody, and then the next play Najee Harris hurdled somebody. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we do know how to be athletic. We just are just not. So that was it for me. I'm not panicking yet. But if I do not see significant improvement on Monday Night Football, which, by the way, we have won 20 consecutive Monday Night Football games, have not lost one since the 90s. If I do not see significant improvement, I will start to panic in terms of how this season is going to go.
Okay. I think that's fair enough and well said. So we appreciate the perspective from a Steelers fan getting the other side. Dylan, I want to say what's up to you, man. I see you in the chat. Hope you've been doing well. I think you got a question.
Oh my God, this is exciting.
Yeah, so I don't know. Can you see that?
Yeah, I think that's been a talk on a lot on Steelers Twitter and in the fan base. Jaylen Warren had a lot of touches this week 1, and people were wondering, well, where the hell's Najee Harris? I still don't have that answer for you. I don't think anybody does. But I definitely think he's very talented. And I think that if he continues to perform well, I think that he's going to just his performance, his involvement is going to just increase as the season goes on. And Najee Harris is very talented, and I like him. But if you're standing on the sideline, you're not really helping. So I hate to put it that way, but that's kind of what happened.
All right. Thanks for the question, Dylan. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Dylan. I feel very included in this Bengals cast.
Hey, let's go. All right. Next game. Titans, Saints. I got this one right. So my main key points were Ryan Tannehill stinks, and so does the Titans offense. Boy, do I want to fade them every game for the rest of the season after watching this game. What a snooze fest of offense. If you are a Titans fan, I know you got one of the greatest running backs of all time. I don't even know if that's a hot take or not, but he's a beast. But boy, are you guys going to get into the 21st century with football sooner rather than later. Derek Carr is Derek Carr. Chris Olave looks very good, and I don't like either of these teams heading into the rest of the season. That's all I got for this one. What about you, Courtney?
I also said it was kind of a snooze fest. A lot of field goals, not a lot of excitement. Big Chris Olave fan, obviously. That's all. I was just
Hey, some of these games just need to be short and sweet. If neither team was impressive, that's all you gotta say. Like I didn't find either team impressive here, which makes their games hard for week 2. So the next game here, Eagles versus Patriots. I got this one right. I said the Eagles would win, but it would be tough with obviously Bill Belichick at home. Tom Brady's there. Tom Brady is there. Tom Brady is there hyping up the crowd, showing everyone that he should be on the field still because he is the GOAT.
Getting choked up by Tom Brady. You miss him.
Yeah, I just saw Tom Brady and I was like, getting choked up, like seeing him on the field. So yeah, that all happened. But the game went exactly as I guessed in the last video. Eagles win. Patriots play tough at home. I think wasn't it like 16-0 early? And I was like, this is going to be a blowout. I didn't think the Patriots came to play. And then I didn't watch the rest of the game and I saw the final score and I was like, okay, good for the Patriots. So yeah, that's all I got.
My only thing I have to say, I loved that the Patriots lost. That's it. I'm a big fan of that. I picked the Eagles, and not even just because I picked the Eagles, but just because it's the Patriots and I just can't stand them. But they're always going to be a decent team. Like there's even their bad years, they're decent. So you just can never really count them out, I would say. I love that they lost, and I loved that pick 6. I was like, oh my gosh, I got another question. Stop! I'm gonna get choked up here if I keep getting questions.
Let's do it. Go ahead.
Maybe. Oh my gosh. Okay. Mike Tomlin has also talked about this before. I do have his jersey hanging up right there. But you can't just say that he wasn't a great Steeler because he was. But personally, it's not going to happen. That would be kind of sick on field. But also, when's the last time he played in the NFL? And who knows what he's been doing in the off? Well, actually, we do know what he's been doing in the off season. But we don't need to cover that. But
I'm not an Antonio Brown fan. I think he's a horrible human being, and I think it goes to show if you just check on his life post NFL, he's a terrible human being and done a lot of stuff that a lot of other people wouldn't get away if he wasn't as good at football as he is. He'll never play another snap in the National Football League, in my opinion. I don't think he'll ever play in the National Football League again.
I totally agree with you. But like I said, you cannot just forget about the fact what he did for the Steelers, like the Triple B era. Oh my God. That was so – I can't believe
great football player, terrible person. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. It's fair enough. Like, there's a lot of great Bengals who probably aren't great people, and there's been news this last week about some former Bengals players, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
Anywho, thank you for the question. I wish he was capable of making that happen, but he's not. So,
Dylan, this is pretty accurate right here. All right. So, next game, Rams, Seahawks. This is my most disappointing game of the year, or not of the year, of this.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. of this week, and that even comes as a Bengals fan watching my own team play. My most confident pick, I said, was the Seahawks. So if you tailed that and laid a bet because of me, I apologize. This one's on me. Don't worry. I lost money on this one too. But yeah, I mean, I just thought the Seahawks were better in every single department of football, and I was completely wrong. And I totally have to reevaluate my opinions on the Seahawks. The Rams, look, I mean, they came into the season looking like they're going to have the worst offensive line. They have receivers nobody have even heard of. An XFL roster essentially out there. I mean, some of these guys I've never heard of, and I watch every single football game of like every year basically. So I mean, that's kind of crazy. Like I picked up somebody on fantasy that's basically the number one for the Rams right now, and I seriously don't even know how to pronounce his name. So there's that. Matthew Stafford played great. If he can stay healthy, he's still Matthew Stafford. Their defense, I can't tell if their defense is actually pretty good or if the Seahawks offense is just not it this year. So yeah, very disappointing for me. I was big on the Seahawks here, and I was wrong big time.
I also picked the Seahawks, but not for any of the reasons that you did. I picked the Seahawks because of the video that went viral in their training camp of Pete Carroll absolutely launching missiles. So that is the reason that I picked the Seahawks. However, he was not playing in that game. He was not launching missiles. So
honestly, if he was playing, they probably would have scored more points than what they did.
I mean, that man can move. That's all there is to say about that. I definitely underestimated the Rams, though. I think I will see how it goes in the next couple of weeks when Cooper Kupp comes back. But I think that they do have a young team. It's kind of what everyone's been talking about, but Matthew Stafford kind of leading that front. I was impressed.
Okay. Yeah, Dylan said the guy's name is Puka. Yeah, I don't even know if that's his first or last name, honestly. He looked like Cooper Kupp in disguise. Right. And it's like Cooper Kupp's on the IR. What's that team going to look moving forward? Obviously, it might not even matter moving forward. They could just throw over whoever in, and they're going to make plays, I guess. So surprising for me and confusing for my pick this next week. All right, Dolphins, Chargers. Another L for me here. Both offenses really just throwing the heck out of the ball. I mean, damn, they looked good. I am so glad the Bengals didn't play either of these teams because they would have probably got smoked. And it was a great game by two great teams. And, yeah, props to the Dolphins pulling this one out. I was on the Chargers. My dad told me to pick the Dolphins. He was right. He beat me on this one. But I don't know. I mean, Tua and Tyreek really have something special. And it's not that I didn't think that they weren't going to have that connection. I just thought maybe the Chargers at home, which I got to stop valuing their home games because they're really not even home games, it appears. But, yeah, I took an L on this one. What about you, Courtney?
I also was riding with the Chargers. I personally am a big fan of Justin Herbert.
Me too.
I think he is great. I really thought that even up till like towards the end, I really thought this was going to lean the other way. Apparently I was wrong, but Tua and Tyreek were explosive. I truly think that I have been underestimating Tua. I really hated to see all the injuries and scares that he went through last season. But I just think overall, even like without that, I just was underestimating him as a player. So I will not be doing that moving forward. Hopefully he can stay healthy this season.
Yeah, and that's really, everyone says the same thing about the Dolphins, and even myself. It's like you really can't trust them. It just is going to take one hit, and they're pulling Tua for at least the rest of that game, and who even knows, games after that. The NFL is not playing any games with Tua this year. I mean, just one fall, takes a slide, late hit, or even just thrown to the turf. I mean, it's just one play, and that's all it's going to take. And
he's been doing jiu-jitsu in this offseason, so he's learning how to fall, Drew. So
yeah, I mean, I'm doing jiu-jitsu too. So what's up?
So you better
I'm with Tua on this
retract
one.
that statement, or else he might come for you in a press conference because he's coming.
We're training Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Me and Tua. I'm doing it for just because it's badass, and he's doing it for, I guess, learning how to fall correctly. To each their own. Yeah, Tua, man, he looked great, and both these teams looked great. I think They're going to put up a lot of points this year, and both these teams are really fun to watch. I mean, I am not an Austin Eckler guy. I am not a fan of him at all. I think he's been so overrated, but he just continuously like proves me wrong. So good for him. Harrison, how you doing?
Harrison needs to leave right now. I can't concentrate if he's in.
Do you want to start us off for some NFC North Packers and Bears? I took an L on this one, so this one was like this one was really surprising to me as well. I'm not gonna lie.
I also took like a massive L on this one. I don't think it's because I underestimated the Packers. I think like this one I am self-aware. I severely overestimated the Bears. Like, Jesus. I can't even believe what I was seeing out there. I will say this. I think if they have another bad season, I think Justin Fields might be in a little bit of trouble. Because there's a lot of excuses before. He has no targets. He has blah 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 blah. Every excuse in the book, and I hate that. He's a Buckeye. I hate that he might be in some trouble, but it's just cold hard truth. Jordan Love.
One question. Your former Pittsburgh Steeler, what's his name? The receiver on the Bears now. He looks terrible.
Chase Claypool.
He looks terrible. I mean, I know it's Justin Fields and a terrible Chicago Bears offensive line, but like he looks bad. Like he doesn't even look like he wants to be there. I don't know if you saw some of the clips on Twitter, but I mean, it was just like he was walking around the field like mid-play. Like he did not care at all.
Yeah, my favorite clip though that did surface of him was when he got pushed and he just dramatically fell over. It was so like I think he's just trying to entertain himself at this point. I can't say. At first, I was a little sad to see him go, but then I realized, what am I talking about? See you later. I will say, Jordan Love could be a guy. Could be a guy for Green Bay. I was very impressed with him, but we got to see if it continues. For me, I'm still in a little bit of shock of seeing anyone other than Aaron Rodgers, which I'm sure we'll get back to later, but anyone else other than Aaron in a Packers jersey. But I don't know. Hey, he was pretty exciting. I can feel like you're not going to agree with me, though, so let's see.
I agree to disagree. So I think it was a fluke game for the Packers and Jordan Love. I would put money on it right now that Jordan Love will not be the starting quarterback for the Packers within 2 more years. Like, I know you could say, like, oh, that, there's a long way because you'd have to be re-signed after his rookie contract, yada, yada, yada. But, like, we all know the Packers aren't going after, guys in free agency. That's just not how they do things. And I just overestimated the Bears. They suck. I think if the Cardinals and Bears play, the Cardinals will whoop the Bears, and it won't be close. And, look, my roommate is a Chicago Bears fan. And even he was like, dude, we suck. Like, bro, like he like the little Twitter thing was like expectations were low, but like, holy shit, like not this low. Like, dude, the Bears are ferocious. I doubt if they even win 4 games this year. And to me, this whole game was overestimating the Bears. I still think the Packers aren't going to be, they don't have a guy. I don't think he's the guy. Prove me wrong if he is. We'll find out. I don't think we'll have another game like that this entire season. So unless it's the second game against the Bears, of course. But yeah, Jordan Love, he did prove me wrong this week. But I'm doubling down and going against him. And maybe I'll look like the fool.
Well, I will say, let's just let the record state that I did say could be a guy.
Okay.
Could be a guy. So, oh my God. Okay. Anyhow, moving on to Cowboys
Giants. Literally, my entire comment was no comment. Blowout. Giants forgot to show up. So,
they were playing 2 different games. The Cowboys were playing football. I don't know what the Giants are doing. I think Stephen A. said it the best. They were playing. The Cowboys were playing Saquon Barkley in a bag of chips. And this bag of chips had more air than chips in it. God, it just was not good. Daniel Jones sucks. I'm sorry, he does. I don't know why people are still arguing that. Also, I kind of see how people on Twitter were talking about how he could be like an MVP candidate. It has to be a parody. It has to be. Like, there's no freaking way. Come on.
Wait, who?
There's someone on Twitter.
But for the MVP, who's the MVP candidate?
Oh, Daniel Jones.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, that's got to be a troll. I mean, look, I didn't think the Giants were going to be this bad this year. It's one game. It's one game. The Bengals, obviously, nobody knows. You know, they saw how they played. They're not going to play like that every game for the rest of the year. The Giants aren't going to play like that for the rest of the year. So I think it was just the problem with a team like the Giants is they can't get behind because they want to run the ball at Saquon, and it's tough to come back from behind when all you want to do is run the ball. I agree with you. Daniel Jones is overrated. I think he's probably a top 15 guy. I thought he did get overpaid. I think he's between a top 15 and top 20 guy. I mean, there's a lot of bad quarterbacks in the National Football League. Let's keep that real. But yeah, the Cowboys are good. I thought they were good. That's why I had them winning the game. But I didn't see them doing it in this fashion. So I got the win, but I feel like I lost because I really did. I mean, that was like not fun to watch at all. I did not enjoy my night watching that game.
15 is so generous. So freaking generous. Jesus. Okay.
Last game.
I can't even get past that. That is so generous. Oh my God. Okay.
Last game to review. Jets versus Bills. And I'm going to start with this one because I got it right. Jets. I was Jets money line. Had money on it. I have a ticket. Aaron Rodgers MVP season. I have Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson on my fantasy stack. It's a Jets stack, so that's my money league. As you could tell, I'm not a Jets fan, but boy, I was very, very bullish on them going into this year. I thought they would do big things with this good offense and even better defense. And heartbreaking. Like, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. Like I said, my favorite NFC team is the Vikings. But I sure do respect Aaron Rodgers, and I love watching him play. And that was heartbreaking to watch. I mean, I was so bummed out. I mean, I believe if Aaron Rodgers played that game would have been a blowout. Josh Allen, and for the Bills, my thoughts on them, bad game. I mean, this one's on Josh Allen, obviously. They should have won this game. There was many drives where they were driving down. All they had to do was settle for a field goal, and for some reason, Josh Allen just decides to launch it 60 yards in triple coverage. Like, what are we doing here? That's terrible IQ. That's the IQ he had his rookie season, and he just looked really bad. I think the Bills are going to bounce back, and I think the Jets probably won't even make the playoffs now. And, yeah, just sucks. I was very big on the Jets this year, and they really aren't probably going to do anything without Aaron Rodgers. So,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this chat. I agree. I agree. I was very big on the Jets going into the season. I watched Hard Knocks. I was loving it. I'm eating it all.
The hype was real.
Yeah, it really was. Aaron Rodgers definitely was a game changer for them. It really sucks that it was in an Achilles. I agree that the Bills kind of blew. Josh Allen did not have a good game at all, but the Bills are the Bills, so they're going to shake it off, and I don't think that they're going to be in some slump. Even though I think I think it is interesting, though, that I forget what I was getting ready to say now. Anyhow. Oh yeah. All that off-season talk of like the Bills have like really bad vibes in their locker room, and like Stephon Diggs is like out of here. And I thought that was really interesting. And then they come in and lose week 1. It's just bad times. But right. I don't think it's going to continue. The Jets defense obviously is electric. I'm a huge Sauce Gardner fan. And I just think I don't know. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. But I do not agree with everyone's total hate of Zach Wilson. Like, give the guy a break. This guy's life sucks right now. I mean, that's like terrible to say. Like, this guy's life sucks right now because he's literally now about to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. But just like the circumstances of it all, it sucks for him because the person that came was there to work with Aaron, and now you're like, okay, how am I going to call up play for not Aaron Rodgers. So it's tough.
I agree. I mean, I don't think Zach Wilson is garbage. I'm not a hater of Zach Wilson. I just don't think he's going to have the locker room as ready as Aaron Rodgers would have. I mean, we both watched Hard Knocks. I mean, they were going through Aaron Rodgers, and the hype was real. Yeah, this one bums me out. So
I'm feeling pretty bad for Garrett Wilson. Oh my God, catch of the year. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. How
it was nasty.
Boom, boom. Like he literally, like, oh God. I mean, it's a little early to say catch of the year, but another Buckeye. I mean, Ohio State just breeds.
Yeah, I mean, there's some complete monsters out there like Ezekiel Elliott. Like, who's he? Like a backup running back for the Patriots now? Like, what a beast. He took what is it? Let's see.
Well, he's also been in the league for like 20 years, so the average.
I guess in running back age, but I think he took the saying let Zeke eat a little too personal. That on Twitter, you can't lie. That was a good one.
I mean, I can't argue with you, but also he's, like I said, he's been in the NFL for.
He's a dinosaur when it comes to the running back position.
He is a dino. I mean, he was good once upon a time. Not to say that he's not still an athletic, talented guy, but he had a lot more going on a long time ago.
Right. And to end the review, we'll go off Dylan's comment. It says Zach Wilson has no confidence. Been getting roasted for media for a couple of years now. I think he'll improve a lot under Rodgers. And look, I agree. Like I said, I think he will make some good plays this year, and he will win some games. I mean, he proved that he can win a tough game, even though it was more of, in my opinion, Josh Allen's fault losing the game than Wilson going out and winning it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's 1-0 on the record. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's the future for the Jets, but, he played a good game. So,
well, Tom Brady is going to be the New York Jets quarterback. So let's all calm down. That's going to be fine.
All right. So getting into it, if you're watching this post, you probably saw the timestamp. The review is over, which means 48 minutes into the stream, we are getting into our picks and predictions for this week. Once again, I am 9-7. Courtney is 6-10. Follow us on all our socials, and we are looking to bounce back here in this week. Well, I mean, I'm still positive. We'll see what you do here, but
okay.
I guess you would be in the works for a bounce back. Look, 6-10 is not bad. That week 1 was insane. So our first game, my Minnesota Vikings versus the Eagles. Why don't you start us off here?
We're going to disagree on this one, but I am going to take the Eagles. I think it's going to be a close game, but I do think that the Eagles are going to get her done.
You said disagree?
Oh.
You think I'm picking the Vikings here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Kirk O'Chain's prime time. I'm rolling with the Eagles here. If the Vikings can't beat the Bucs at home, what in the world would I be to believe that they can go to Philadelphia in prime time and beat the Eagles? The Vikings just got to show me something. If they get the upset here, then I'm probably picking the Vikings for the rest of every week for the rest of the year. But they got to show me that. They have to show me that. The Vikings secondary is very thin, like I kind of hinted at earlier. I just think they're going to struggle. It hurts. Let's see, Jalen Carter and the Eagles D line will get after Kirk. They will. If there's an over/under on sacks, I would guess that it's probably around like 6 or 7 or something ridiculous, and they probably will get the over. But when it comes to betting, I will say that I like the over. Last time I saw the line, it was at 48.5. I would do the over. I think it's going to be high scoring. I don't think it's going to be a complete trash game by Kirk O'Chains. I think we will see some flashes of Kirk O'Chains, primarily because of Jay Jettas. Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the National Football League, and it isn't close. I don't care who's guarding him. He will get open, and he will make some plays. And then I like the Vikings to cover. Last time I checked, the lines was like 8. So Vikings win and lose games, but it will be close whether they win or lose. They just hang around in games. That's what they do, win or lose. They either play down the competition or they play up the competition. So my pick is the Eagles, but if I was a betting man, I would hit the over, and I like the Vikings to cover. So any more comments about that one?
I like the over if I was a betting woman, but I'm not. So
I'm going to have you get us started here. Ravens in Cincinnati for the opening game here at Paycor Stadium. What do you got and why?
I'm taking the Bengals. I think that even though they started their season 0-2 last year, which we didn't mention this earlier, but I remember how they started 0-1 last season. I was there and watched it. It was a lot of fun. I think that the Ravens have talent. I think they always have talent. And it's a pretty safe bet, I would say, for any AFC North rivalry to go 1-1. But I'm gonna take the Bengals on this first one. I think they're back home. They're pissed. They just went up to Cleveland and got stomped. So you can't have somebody coming in your house and making you look bad like the Chiefs.
Short and sweet. I got the Bengals. Bengals are 4 of the last 5 games. They beat the Ravens the last time they played. Tyler Boyd, he dominates the Ravens. So if there's a Tyler Boyd touchdown, the over/under on receptions or receiving yards, I would cash on the overs. Tyler Boyd, he just scorches the Ravens for whatever reason that is. Look, that was Joe Burrow's worst career game of his entire career. So, I expect him to come back here, and I'm not going to say light it up. I don't expect 350, 3 touchdowns and no picks, but I expect 17 to 24 points out of Cincinnati here. And one more reason why I'm going to go with Cincinnati here. These are players who are either questionable or already marked out for the Ravens. J.K. Dobbins, Mark Andrews, Marcus Williams, Marlon Humphrey, Tyler Linderbaum, and Ronnie Stanley. Look, that's a lot of starters. That's a lot of stars. It's a lot of guys who are going to make plays or not make plays because they're not on the field. Because of that, I'm going with the Bengals. So, I think, who do you think they'll put on Zay? I'm honestly not sure. Hilton will be able to handle him in nickel. Exactly, but then you worry about the speed. I mean, it depends on the contain. Look, our safeties are young. They're quick. They're big. I honestly don't know. And I think this question depends on if Mark Andrews is playing. So I really don't have an answer as of right now on that. I think it's just big question mark on Mark Andrews. So going into our next game here, Seahawks head to Detroit to face the Lions. You want to start us off here?
Yeah, I said that overreaction Monday. I wasn't buying into going all the way, but I am still buying into the Lions hype train. I think that they are going to walk away with this one. If Pete Carroll was playing, I would have a different answer. But like we said earlier, he's not. So
that's a bummer. That's a real bummer. I think he'd throw like 3 touchdowns. I mean, a lot of he probably can't throw it too far, but he's got that running ability, right?
He can take off. You give him a hole, he's
Lamar Jackson, who?
Exactly. But I think the Lions do have a talented team, and I think it's overdue for the Lions to have a really good start to a season. So I'm pretty confident in this one. Now, if the Seahawks turn around and screw me on this, I'm gonna come back next week and on here and start raging. So let's hope for everyone that doesn't happen.
We differ here. So you chose the Seahawks, right?
No, I chose Lions.
Oh, I thought the ending thing you said you were going to be mad. You're mad if the Seahawks do prove you wrong, as in they win. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right. Well, we agree again. I think the Lions at home go 2-0. I think the Lions defense give Geno Smith a lot of problems. We saw him struggle big time last week, and I think that will continue into this week. And Jamal Adams is also questionable for the Seahawks. I don't really have many notes for this game. Look, I think the Vikings will win the NFC North. But, which I know honestly at this point is, I think a lot of people disagree with that. They would say the Lions are the favorite. But I'm still going to go 2-0 here for the Lions. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, they got to prove me wrong. Like, I'm not necessarily buying into the hype, but I'm here to hear it out for a couple of weeks. So give me the Lions this week over the Seahawks. I didn't really see any bets that I like. Amon-Ra St. Brown over under. Obviously, cash the over. I don't know anything for the Seahawks. I don't know any of the others bets, so I'm not sure on that. So anything else on that game?
No.
All right. Colts and Texans. I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans pull this out, but I'm going to stick to my gut, and I'm going to go with the Colts. Anthony Richardson, like I said, big fan. I think he's going to style on this Texans defense. With that said, the running back situation for the Colts is very, very concerning. I mean, the two guys they had in, I think one of the guys got hurt, and he might be out for the season. I don't know if there's updated reports on that, but very scary running back situation for Anthony Richardson, but it's okay because Anthony Richardson himself can run the ball. So I'm not confident in this pick at all. This is one of my least confident picks, but I am riding with the Colts here. What about you?
I agree. I also have the Colts. Yeah. I do think the Texans are going to find success this season. I don't know when, but I think it will happen, even by accident. And that's not a roast. That's just, I just think that's how it's gonna fold. But my gut is telling me to go with the Colts, because of how promising they looked, even without a running back. So I'm going with Colts.
Fair enough. This is a good one, and by good one, I mean no one's probably going to be watching this game, whether it's a 1 or 4 o'clock game. But Bears at Bucks. Why don't you get this one started?
Okay, I'm taking the Bucks here, and I hate doing that. I really do. I don't feel good about this. I don't like coming on here and saying, "Oh yeah, I like the Bucks to win." I hate saying that. But the Bears just let me down horribly last week, and you just. There's really not much to say other than you do have a seasoned professional in Baker. I mean, do with that what you will. But I just don't like the Bears winning this one. I don't.
I agree. I don't think we've disagreed yet, but
I know we saw like we're 2 in line.
We do not tell each other our picks before the show. So if anyone knows we do not know each other's picks. But I agree. With or without Levante David, I think the Bucks get the win. I know last time I checked, he's questionable. And it's less about the Bucks and more about the Bears for me. The Bears stink. Like I said, I think they're the worst team in the National Football League. I think they are worse than the Cardinals. Yeah, no hope on the Bears. And I think Baker Mayfield, this is one of the games that he can get after the ball. Like last week. Like Baker wins the games that he shouldn't. This is a game he should win. Will he win it? Not confident, but my pick is the Buccaneers.
Do you think the Bears are going to go winless?
No, I think teams going winless is like less, I think it, I don't know. Like, I think teams will sooner or later get a win. I mean, it reminds me of the Lions a few seasons ago when they had no wins or maybe one win and they beat the Vikings, I believe, in Minnesota. Maybe it was in Detroit. I don't remember where. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? The worst team in the league, sooner or later, is just going to squeak one out. Like, they're just going to get a win. It could be the most BS. It could be a career worst game for the opposing quarterback, but they are going to get a win. I don't think any team goes winless. Cardinals, Bears, they will get a win, and it's probably going to be, they're going to screw up my pick that week. But
do you remember the 0-16 Browns? I miss those times. I really miss those times.
I mean, that's impressive to not pull out a win. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's more. I think a team could go undefeated and wins, or undefeated and I think a team could go undefeated and wins easier than a team go undefeated and losses. unless there's some money on the table where an owner is, paying somebody to pay somebody to, tank for a reason, even though that officially by the NFL is ruled out and not, you're not able to do that, even though teams have obviously done that in the past. I mean, go back to the Bengals Miami Dolphins game when the tank for Tua Bowl. Do you remember that? And then they didn't even
last year or the year before?
Well, before the draft with Joe Burrow, they played the Dolphins, and neither of them had their quarterbacks, And at the time, it was before Burrow had his rise in rankings, and it was like the tank for Tua Bowl, or that was kind of the thing, and it was like nobody wanted to win that game, and it even, I believe, if I recall correctly, went into overtime, and it was just like the craziest game. I think Brandon Allen was the quarterback, or Ryan Finley, one of the two. So that makes me a believer that teams do tank on purpose. Both teams, looking back in 2020, both teams got their guy. Bengals got Burrow, they got Tua, and they both seem, heading into the right direction. So,
I do not remember that at all. I don't know where I was, but probably
it was
drowning in my sorrows because of the Steelers, or too excited to care. So that's what
I was probably doing a live play-by-play here on the channel, so that's why I have so many of these just agony moments that I'm like, I can't believe I sat there on stream for 5 hours and play-by-play Brandon Allen at quarterback. All right, moving on. Okay, so what do we do? We just did the Colts and Texans, which means we did the Bears and Buccaneers. Okay, Chiefs and Jags. Get us started on this one.
Taking the Chiefs. I think that they. I think I saw Travis Kelce not playing. Or no, I think Travis Kelce is playing. I believe that's what the last thing I saw. But I think that they took that loss on Banner Night at home personally. It all just depends, if they're gonna catch football. But I don't really like to bet against the Chiefs. You're gonna say the Jags. I know. I think, but I thought about saying the Jags for a second, but then I was like, I don't want that. I don't want this to be the game that I'm wrong on. Watch me still be wrong anyway, though. I'm looking on my 6-10 record. I'm looking for safe bets here. I'm looking for wins. So I really just hope the Chiefs can pull that out for me.
All right. So no Chris Jones, no Kelce. I'm on the Jags. Don't know about Kelce, but they have Chris Jones at least. Cash me in on the Chiefs. Look, it's just hard to see a world where they go 0-2. I know the Jags looked pretty good. I mean, look, they did, compete with the Colts. So I think there are levels here, but then you can argue how good are the Chiefs, you're not how good are the Chiefs, how good are the Lions with that game being as close as it was. Even if the Chiefs should have won, they still didn't. I think no matter what, you could probably cash the over here. I think there's going to be a ton of points. I think there will be even a few interceptions. I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs here. I know they hurt me here against the Lions, but I think they get a bounce back win here. So that's about all I can say for that one. If Kelce's playing, obviously anytime touchdown Travis Kelce, you gotta sprinkle it. The running back situation for the Chiefs, if you like unders, you could consider the unders for both of those, just because I don't think they know what they're doing with their 5 different running backs. Just choose somebody, choose 2 people. Why do you have 4 running backs? It's ridiculous. I don't understand. But, yeah. So, getting into the next one. Packers versus Falcons. Look, I'm going with the Falcons here. And this hints back to us. You're talking about Jordan Love is a guy. So, if Jordan Love is a guy, I'm going to assume you're going with the Packers, and I hope you are going with the Packers. I think the Falcons are going to run all over them. I think Bijan Robinson's probably going to have 20 attempts. I think Tyler Algier is going to have 15 attempts, and they're going to go from there. Now, what worries me is Kyle Pitts doesn't see the ball. Drake London doesn't see the ball. Look, at the end of the day, I know it's Desmond Ridder, but you got some guys that are going to catch the ball. Just try. At least try to throw the ball. Jesse Bates, he's a beast. He at least gets 1 interception on Jordan Love. He might have another 2 interception game, honestly. So I don't know. This is I'm more confident in the Falcons than the Packers here. Jordan Love could make me go 0-2 in picks to start the season. And I never saw that coming if it does happen. So what's your take here?
I'm actually going with the Falcons. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to see what you. I actually am riding with Jordan Love and the Packers.
Oh my God.
I am
I get it.
buying into the Jordan Love hype. I think he could be a guy. Okay, let's rewind. Emphasis on could. We've only seen 1 week of football, and it was against the Bears. But he has to be feeling pretty good, pretty confident going into Soldier Field, getting a win. And I just think they're gonna. Come on, I cannot believe you're taking the Falcons, honestly. But I mean, it's understandable, I suppose. But
this is just
I'm
one
riding
of
with the
those
Packers.
prove me wrong. This is just one of those prove me wrong games.
I
Like,
hope that Jordan Love makes you go 0-2, and I hope that this is a win-win for me because you go 0-2 because of him, and I get a win out of it. So I'll at least be 7 and whatever.
you got to catch up somehow. And picking all the same games as me is you're not gonna catch up. But maybe you'll at least go positive. So here we go. This could be another one. I'm just kidding. We probably are on the same tier here. Raiders versus Bills. Who do you got and why?
I have the Bills. I think that last week was honestly kind of a fluke. Josh Allen sucked, to be honest. But he obviously knows that and is not going to let that happen again. He is on the cover of Madden, so he's trying to avoid that Madden curse.
Okay.
And the Raiders just did not perform well enough last week to where I'm like, oh my God, they're going to be like, no.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, it was a really, really tough outing for Josh Allen, but I think he shreds up this Raiders team. I just think the Bills bounce back. It's at home. I think he gets it done in front of the fans. I don't really have much to say. I'm not a big believer in the Raiders. They didn't really show me much in this first week, and I think Buffalo just gets it done here. And I hope they do because I don't know. Like, obviously, going in with Buffalo, like, I'm not a fan. You want them to lose as a Bengals fan, but at the same time, I got to be realistic here. I want my picks up. I'm 9-7. I'm trying to get to like a good percentage here, and I can do that with the Bills backing me here. And look, I faded them last week with the Jets. It worked out for me. So we're gonna see how it goes here in week 2. My bets here: anytime Josh Allen touchdown. I think he runs one in this week or a QB sneak or something as in that. Stephon Diggs overs. Stephon Diggs looked great. He looked emotional in a good and bad way. He's a dog. A sneaky one. I think their tight end situation's pretty tough. Dalton Kincaid is a sleeper. I know he doesn't get a ton of action, but hear me out. Dalton Kincaid, like, it's a sleeper. Don't sleep on the guy. And I don't even know where I see this on the over-under. I think it surprisingly could be the under, but I have no idea because if Zach Wilson's shredding up the Bills' defense, it could get ugly. So, I don't know. Nonetheless, I choose the Bills, but yeah. Please prove me right there. All right. Chargers versus Titans. Who do you got in this one?
I think we're going to agree on this one as well. I have the Chargers. I loved what I was seeing last week. I said on here earlier, I'm a big Justin Herbert fan. It's come on. But when I say that and I'm like so confident that's what makes me nervous because I was real confident last week on a few and they totally just screwed me over. So if the Titans somehow come out and win this game, I'm gonna be pretty upset because it just should not happen. Like, I know that this is all like on paper, like this should not happen, and that is normally not a safe bet, just because we're not on paper. But I'm still gonna go with the Chargers. I just think that it speaks for itself.
Agreed. My notes say Chargers simply outscore the Titans. No hope in the Titans offense. And that's all I have to say. I think the Chargers absolutely destroy the Titans here. I don't think it's close. I don't know what the lines look like, but I would be hammering the Chargers. And Yeah, I just have no hope in this because like the problem with the Titans, if they fall behind, you trust Ryan Tannehill to throw his way back into the game. I'm not buying it, so I'm going Chargers here, keeping it simple.
I think if the Titans were to win this game on the off chance, it's not because they are good. It is because the Chargers were really bad.
Fair enough. I agree with that. So this next one, I don't know if we'll be on the same side here. 49ers and Rams.
I don't know why we wouldn't be on the same side if you're about.
I'm choosing the 49ers. I mean, come on, keep it simple here. Like,
it's not even
this
close.
could be an area where I try to like get ahead of you by, fading the 49ers and choosing the Rams, but the 49ers look like the best team in the National Football League outside of the Cowboys. And Brock Purdy, go and have yourself a game here. And I think the Rams really struggle to score here. I think the loss of Cooper Kupp actually shows this week, and all those XFL receivers struggle against the 49ers. Like I said, the Rams have a bottom 5 offensive line in the National Football League, if not the worst. That's going to show this week. 49ers big time. Give me the line, give me the points, give me it all. I'm all in on the 49ers this week.
Okay. I agree. I mean, after getting dog walked last week, I find it really hard to bet against the 49ers.
Okay. All right. So that leads us into Giants versus Cardinals. I'll keep it simple. My notes say 2 bad teams, but one is worse, and that one is the Cardinals. Give me the Giants.
Wow. Okay. I already kind of spoiled my pick earlier, but I said, going off of what you said, the Cardinals are going to win a game this year, and I said that game is going to be against the Giants. They have a really bad narrative going around their team, and I'm sure that is fueling them in the Cardinals locker room. And I just really think that they, after losing week 1, I really think that they're trying to get a win in that column, and I just think that the Giants they just don't. It's Saquon Barkley and a bag of chips. It's just not good. It's really bad stuff going on over there. I don't have faith. I've never had faith in the Giants. Well, that's a lie. When they had Eli Manning, that was different. But in recent years, I have had zero hope, zero faith for the Giants. It's not looking good. And I think Saquon Barkley needs to leave if he wants to find any success for the talent that he has.
Okay. I mean, I honestly agree. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals pulled this one out. I wouldn't be surprised at all. With that said, my pick is still the Giants. But, yeah, I mean, I think the Cardinals could do it. So it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know what the lines look like. I'm obviously not going to touch this game, so I'm probably not going to watch it. So on to the next. Jets and Cowboys. This one kills me because with Aaron Rodgers, I'm hammering the Jets, but I just can't. That Cowboys defense looked fantastic, and I think Zach Wilson just has a stinker of a game. I think this one's low scoring because I think the Jets defense keep them in the game. I mean, I'm not bullish on Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is worse than Daniel Jones. There it is on record. Clip it. But I don't care. Like that's just my opinion, and I think it's going to be low scoring. I would hammer the under, even if the under is low, because the Jets defense is really good and the Cowboys defense is really good. But I think the Cowboys get the win with no Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I also have the Cowboys. Micah Parsons is just a problem on any football field that he steps foot onto. And I just think, oh, poor Zach Wilson. God, I hate this for him. I'm really down bad about this Aaron Rodgers injury just because I want the Jets to do well so badly. I really do. But the Cowboys looked like a really good football team. So I just find it. I agree with you. Dak Prescott is not good. I I don't know if I would say he's worse than Daniel Jones. I'd have to think about that a little bit longer. But their defense is
How about this? If the Cowboys lose, and Dak Prescott throws at least 2 picks, maybe even a fumble, just has a typical Dak Prescott playoff game. Just let's keep that in mind. Then you'll come back next week and you'll say Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott.
Okay.
All right. There it is. Let's go. I honestly think Jets get this one done by like 20 points if Rodgers in. The Jets defense is so good. I'm just going to stop talking because I'm just getting more depressed the more I talk about what happened.
I know.
Coming from a Vikings fan. Commanders versus Broncos. I'm going to let you start with this one because I'm gonna hold on. Before I tell you my pick, I'm just gonna say that I saw that Chase Young is not expected to play. So, but I'll let you do your thing here.
I did know that he is not expected to play week 2 again. Neck injury, tough bounce. I'm still going with the Commanders because the Broncos let me down when I was 10 years old with Tim Tebow. And then they let me down again last week when I picked them one time to win a game. A singular time I picked them to win a game. They didn't. So this is twice now that they have let me down just off the top of my head. I'm sure they've let me down more times than that. I just don't like I'm never betting on them again. Like, God, I'm so Sean Schwayton. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know.
I hear you on that. I
don't know if I don't actually like agree with that. I'm pretty upset right now. Just thinking about 10-year-old Courtnie watching Tim Tebow annihilate the Steelers defense on the game that counts the most. So, I'm going to go with Commanders, Chase Young or not.
All right. I respect it, but I disagree. I'm rocking with the Broncos here, and I'm not proud to say it out loud. But, if Chase Young is out, regardless, I think Sean Payton outcoaches Ron Rivera. That's about all I got. I'm really haven't dug too deep into this game. I'm not touching the game betting-wise. But, yeah, my pick is still with the Broncos. So that's it for that one. I'm not watching that game. I know me personally. I will go back and watch the highlights afterwards. A game I will consider. Dolphins versus Patriots. I'm rocking with the Dolphins here, but I'm concerned, and there's a few reasons why. The biggest thing is I believe even with the Belichick defense, which looked good, I think Miami still can outscore the Patriots. The lack of Ramondre Stevenson for New England's offense is concerning to me. What's a New England offense without a strong run game and a running back? Don't know. I also saw that Devontae Parker is questionable. I don't know the update of that. And look, that Dolphins team, I mean, they are hot. I know it's early to say that in week 2 already, but they looked fantastic. I mean, Tyreek Hill and Tua are on the same page in every shape and form. And I just don't think the Patriots can score at them. I think if the Patriots win here, it has to be a Belichick masterclass. That's it for me.
I am going to agree with you on this. I am also riding with the Dolphins. I just think that the cheetah is going to run up and down that field and just laugh in everybody's faces. And I hope that happens. I have my woes against the Patriots. Simply because they're a good football team. I mean, that's it. When you're talking about good coaches, we always talk about Mike Tomlin, but then Bill Belichick is always right there. So that annoys me.
Oh, you saying it's Tomlin and then Belichick?
No, but I'm saying like they're always like in that conversation of like.
So you'd say like Belichick, Tomlin.
Well, what I'm saying is every time you have a conversation about Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, you're like, yeah, they're really great, but what about this guy? And you're like, damn, no.
Because Belichick's better. All right, that's a conversation for a different day. You can continue. I don't know. Like if we're saying Tomlin's better than Belichick here, I mean, look, the conversation with Belichick without Brady, I'm kind of intrigued about because, I wonder about that as well. But
hey, I'm not
anyways.
dogging on him. I'm not whatever. And this is me taking out my bias. It's really I'd have to. Oh God, I don't know. I'm not even going down that road because I'm gonna get
But
canceled.
you're riding with the Dolphins.
Yes, I'm riding with the Dolphins. Also, we didn't even mention this, talking about Bill Belichick. I can't even believe it. Him and his girlfriend broke up and they're all worried. So, I mean, the cheetah is going to laugh in his face after he scores, and they're concerned about his home life. So, if they're concerned, I'm concerned.
I mean, Belichick, I don't know. He's an interesting guy to say the least. But he can coach. But
he does know how to do that. He knows how to do that. He knows ball.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots pull it off. But
I'm up in the air. It's a coin toss. It's a coin toss.
All right. Fair enough. 2 more. Saints and Panthers. Get us started on this one, because this one I've been up in the air about. I mean, I truly don't know on this one, so I'll let you get started.
I am also up in the air on this one. But before I even go into my pick, how dare the National Football League put this game on the same day as a Browns-Steelers game? At least the Browns-Steelers game is a headliner. If we were not the headliner, that would be a disgrace to
Yes, because the Browns-Steelers, probably like 17-point total game, is going to be such a barn burner. It's going to be such a fun game to watch, huh?
You would rather watch the Saints and Panthers? Is that what on primetime?
I'm just saying there might be a better game here in this lineup than Browns-Steelers, but I hear what you're saying. I would pick the Browns-Steelers over the Saints and Panthers.
Thank you. I'm going with the Saints here. This, I don't really have any logic behind this. It's just I really don't know. The main reason I picked them is because I bet on the Panthers to win last week and they did not. So until they redeem themselves, I'm gonna go the other way.
All right. So I think Derek Carr throws it to Olave, and I think that will be enough. And what I predict to be a low-scoring game, I like Bryce Young. I really do, but I saw DJ Shark is questionable, and I really don't know what else they have on that offense, to be honest. I mean, I'm not digging deep into Panthers, information nowadays, to be quite honest, but I don't really know what they have for him. And watching the game last week, or at least watching the highlights, didn't seem like much. Like I said, I have questions about the run game. I don't understand the Chuba Hubbard 3rd and 4th down back type of thing. So until Bryce Young shows me that I can trust him with my pick, I'm going to have to fade him, and I'm going to do that here with the Saints. I'd say it's about a medium, low to medium confidence pick, but I just think Derek Carr can get it done over Bryce Young, and that's about all I have for this one. There's really not much to it for me, but let's go ahead and get to the one that you're so excited for, the Browns and Steelers, and I'm sure we disagree on this one, but you get us started here. You get us started for this one, Browns and Steelers. Here we go.
Who am I, as a lifelong Steelers fan, if on Monday Night Football I bet against the Steelers? I would never do that. Let me just remind you of the stat where we have won 20 consecutive. I'm going to knock on wood.
That's a good one.
But
I have not seen that stat, and that's making me want to fade my pick, but it's too late.
I do my homework. I came prepared. I don't like losing. It's a terrible feeling, and as a Steelers fan, I don't really know a ton of it because we have been pretty successful in my lifetime. Anywho's, that loss at home in week 1 was personal, and that was personal. And I think, like I said, I am not panicking about the Steelers just yet. But I think the Browns are a way lesser team than the 49ers. Come on, that's not a question. And if we lose this game, I will have tear stains on my cheeks on next week. and I will not be available. I have a lot of confidence in what the Steelers like lineup. I really do, especially their defense, and I really cannot wait to watch TJ Watt sack Deshaun Watson.
I expected this would be your pick, and that's why I went with the Browns. But not just for that. Look, here are possible injuries, or these are injuries that are either confirmed that they're not playing or questionable, whatever. Freiermuth, big tight end. Kenny Pickett loves his tight end. Deontay Johnson, I don't know if he's out yet, but I know he was questionable at least.
He is out.
And Cameron Hayward, is there an
out?
Look, that's some big names right there, and two of them are pretty, I would say safety. I don't know about entire safety blankets, but a secure blanket for Kenny Pickett. I think that's a problem, and I think it's going to show. I know you like your guy Pickens, but look, I don't think he's a fan of Kenny Pickett, and even if they do get their chemistry back, he's running out of options here.
I disagree with that, but I'll let you go with that. I disagree with that, but
that's fine. That's fine.
I'll let you roll.
But look, I'm religiously a Kenny Pickett hater. I do not have any confidence in him as a franchise quarterback.
Okay.
I don't see it, but I think he can win a lot of games in the AFC North because of his defense and his coach. And he has some pretty good receivers when healthy. My pick confidence is very, very low. I don't think I've ever chosen the Browns to win anything in my life, but I'm going to choose them here. So my confidence is very low on this. I think the Browns win it in a low-scoring, ugly offensive, defense is just hurting people. They're all over the field. They're aggressive in a classic AFC North primetime game. I got the Browns probably like 17-10, I don't know, maybe even more lower scoring than that. A lot of field goals. Give me the Browns, not confident. But you go ahead and finish what you were saying. Well, we got Brandon Smith in here says Browns 28-10. So
that's
he thinks
tough.
It's not even going to be close.
That's tough. I do not appreciate that from you, Brandon.
I mean, the way the offense looked against the Bengals, it didn't look like a 28-point team. But I mean, if there is, some guys that are going to be on the defensive side, maybe it does get ugly here in the fourth quarter.
So Minka Fitzpatrick's name was not said once against the 49ers, and I think that he's hopefully going to wake up in this game and, make some big plays that he's totally capable of doing. I think that – why would you put that on the screen right now?
No, because this is what I meant to put. What about Nick Chubb? No Cameron Hayward? Oh, my gosh. Bet the over on everything for Nick Chubb this game. I don't care if it's at 99 yards. You bet the over, and you probably are pretty solid for an anytime touchdown as well. Receptions, they're going to pass it to him in the backfield with no the other running back that's not there anymore. No more Kareem Hunt. Chubb's going to get to see the receptions. I bet on that this last week, and I cashed in on that. Anything Nick Chubb this week without Cameron Hayward is probably going to be money. But a 28-10 game, I don't see that. Like I said, I'm low in confidence, and I think it's going to also be a low-scoring game.
I'm not doubting Nick Chubb's talent. I'm really not. But I'll just close out this with just one more Tomlinism for you. And that is, if you're going to blink in the face of adversity, and our adversity this week is our offensive coordinator and our injuries, cut your eyelids off. And I think that Steelers locker room has cut their eyelids off, and they are ready to go on this Monday Night Football. I'm excited for the game. I wish it was Sunday night just because I can't wait until Monday. I wish it was Thursday night because I'm just so amped. But, yeah, my eyelids are cut off. Their eyelids are cut off. We're ready. Not that
What's your confidence level here? Low, medium, high, very high.
I'm going to go a medium to a low high. A medium to like a moderate. Or no, moderate. What one's higher? Moderate, I think.
Compared to medium, aren't they the same?
I don't know. it It's oh god, they've won 20 straight Monday nights in a row. I just do not see them. Brandon, do not say that to me right now. Stop it. Stop. I don't want to. I don't want to.
I want to see reactions after Browns wins. So when you guys stream again. So we plan on doing this every Wednesday, and we're going to have the same setup. So we've been live for 90 minutes. We're going to start off the streams with reactions and notes from every game. And then after that, we are going to get into our predictions for the next week, and we'll keep track of our picks. So
if you want to know
win or lost, you're going to see her reaction and what she took away from the game, and you'll see what I took away. But if you are a betting man or woman here, keep that stat in mind. What was it, 20 Monday Night Football games in a row?
We have not lost a Monday Night Football game since 1990-something.
If you're betting on this game, keep that in mind. I probably won't. I mean, the DraftKings will probably
1991.
Will.
1991 is the last time that we lost on Monday Night Football at home.
All right. I mean, I'm not changing my pick. I'm keeping it what it is. I think we have all but maybe 3 or 4 different this week. So let's hope our picks are right. Or are right. If you guys are riding with us, whether you're just keeping track of your picks or you're throwing some bets down, best of luck. I hope we maybe persuaded you one way or another, or at least could provide you some information on some of your picks. If you agree or disagree with us, let us know in the comment section once the video is posted. I totally don't care if you disagree with me. Matter of fact, I would like you to disagree because I want to see what your argument is. So I greatly appreciate the people who did that in last week's video, because somebody said something that kind of changed my mind on one of my picks. But in the end of the day, some of these picks are pretty low confidence, so it's not going to take much. And Brandon said, well, now you got Pickett. So he's saying don't live in the past. This ain't Big Ben no more.
Okay, but that's just that's a great stat to look at if you're
It is a great stat, and that's why I said, like, if you are betting, like, that's a stat you should consider, because it very well could be 21.
It's just anytime on this podcast it's going to be really hard for me to ever bet against the Steelers unless, well, actually I take that back. If we totally are a dumpster fire on Monday night, I'm gonna have to start being I don't know. I can't even say that out loud yet. That's not going to happen. Knock on wood. That's not going to happen. If the
Steelers lose this game by like dominance, I'm probably going to be fading them for a while.
I'm probably not going to come back on this show. I'm probably going to resign.
I don't even know how much they lost by in week 1. And if it's a lot this week too against this Browns offense, yikes. At home. Wait, both games are going to be at home too? Yeah. Oh my gosh. If they lose this makes me want to choose the Steelers, because if they lose this game, they are in trouble.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to pay.
Back-to-back home games?
No, I'm 100. But you know what? The good news is I know that we are not losing every game, because we do play the Cardinals this year. So
I would keep that in your cards. I mean, get it, Cardinals, because aren't you riding with the Cardinals this week?
Yeah, I am.
Wait, there we go.
Who are they playing again this week? I already forget. Oh, they're playing the Giants. Come on. That has nothing to do with this. That is nothing to do with this.
Yeah. It's too easy. So once again, my picks this week, I believe these are updated. Eagles, Bengals, Lions, Colts, Bucks, Chiefs, Falcons, Bills, Chargers, Niners, Giants, Cowboys, Commanders, Dolphins, Saints, and the Browns. I threw a couple bets in there. If anyone wants to see more bets or parlays or anything, let me know. I could always add that in the future. But as of right now, I'm just trying to get my picks right so I can have a good record. I mean, 9-7 is all right. That might clinch me a wild card, but it's not looking too pretty. So I mean, do you have anything else to say before we wrap this one up?
Not really, but Brandon, if you're still watching, if you really want to see my reaction right after the game, it'll be on my TikTok. So
there you go. What's the TikTok?
It's the same as my Instagram.
There you go.
I used to be above posting videos of myself crying, but if we lose, I'm not above that. I'm not above posting a video of myself crying, and I hate that. But that event would call for it, in my opinion. But I'm really excited for this week. Hopefully it goes better than week 1 on all fronts. My picks, injury-wise, just all the things, and specifically for the Steelers. But I'm really excited about this week. And I'm pretty confident,
look,
and then I'm going to redeem myself.
These picks can't be that biased because, like, look at me. I had a bit of bias, and I chose the Bengals and Vikings, although both teams were favored to win their games. So, that is what it is, and they both lost. So they are why I'm 9-7. If I would have faded both of them, I could have been 11-5. So, you look at the Steelers, you could be 7-9 right now. But once again, I mean, the Steelers weren't favored, but they look like a good pick. I mean,
The 49ers were only favored by like 2.5 points.
Which, looking back on, is like, who came up? Like, what did Vegas do here with these lines?
That is how much hype was in the preseason.
Yeah. Kenny Pickett, what a guy. All right, well, that's it for this week's show. Get active in the comment section. Let us know your picks for the week. We will be back, should be every Wednesday. I do not know if I will be doing the play-by-play for the Bengals game this weekend. If you are in the Discord, I will let you know. If you aren't, go join it. Link in the description. Go follow both of our socials. And, everyone have a great weekend. It's always a good weekend when there's football on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy. And best of luck to everyone, and thank you for joining in. That's all I got. Let's go.